Hello and welcome to a new episode of our podcast, Culture Cuddles,
where we talk about experiences of people living and loving abroad. My name is Uyen.
And I'm the German husband-to-be.
And we are the hosts of this podcast.
Yay! So today's episode topic is language confusion and misunderstandings.
Woo! Honey, how many languages do you speak?
I speak 2 languages,
Mm-hmm.
English and German.
Can you speak Vietnamese too?
What too?
We actually sent German boyfriend to a private Vietnamese class, actually. I mean, it didn't go as well as I dream of, but he...
You think I'm having 1 week of intense Vietnamese class and then I'm the native speaker?
I don't know, honey. You look like a talented man, so I thought you could do it.
Not with languages. I have a lot of talents, that is true, but languages are not among them.
I must tell you, I'm not like super passionate with learning languages in general. For me, just a tool to communicate with other people from other places. That is why it took me like a long time to learn English. And it kills my soul to learn German at this point when I'm 29 years old. But the thing is, I'm living in Germany, so I need to learn German in order to communicate with people over here.
And she's doing a good job.
Yeah.
She can already have phone calls with people in German. She's calling with the tax department in German.
Legal department and everything, and the doctor and stuff like that. Okay, should we start with the story that we got sent?
Yeah, why not? So on our website, culturecuddles.com, you send us a lot of your own stories again. You're very welcome to send us more stories.
Yeah.
Also about this topic. I'm pretty sure we will talk about it once again. So Paige submitted us her story. My husband and I are living in the USA. I was born here. He was born in Venezuela. Are you pronouncing that like that in English?
What is the language people speak in Venezuela? Venezuelan? Gosh, just like we sound like 2 dumb people right now.
What does it have to do with if I pronounce it correct?
I'm sorry. I just deep in my thought. I have no clue, honey. How do you say Venezuela
in German? You just say Venezuela.
In Vietnam, we just say Venezuela too.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. I hope you're fine, or your husband is fine with it, Paige.
Sorry.
So he came to the USA for college, and that is where we met. Limon, is very common in Venezuela, but lemons are very uncommon. So uncommon, my husband did not know that there were 2 different fruits.
Yeah, can I say something first? This is the same thing in Vietnam too. What is a lime? I just know that when I learn in English, lemon is the green fruits that we only have in Vietnam. So the only green fruits is called lemon in Vietnam, and that's everything I know. And then when I go to Germany, they only have lime. See, I don't even know. They have that yellow sour thing, and then they call it a lemon, and then they tell me that the green one is lime, and I was super confused, and I still confused to this day. I have no clue. I call both of them lemon, and then everybody is confused with me. Sorry, back to the story.
Well, actually, that is the story.
Oh, really?
No, like it's going a little bit further, but it's basically what you said. Now living in the USA, it is very confusing to my husband, and he will often mistake limes for lemons because limon also sounds so similar to melon. Lemon. Heck. Now it's kind of a cute game where in the grocery store, I'll ask him to get a lime, and he always asks the green one or the yellow one.
Yep. Same with me.
Even though I think he has figured out it now.
You know, in Vietnam, we have like one word for blue and green. It's all xanh in Vietnam, but we have the blue in English. In Vietnam, we call it like sky blue, and then the green we call it leaves. Yeah, like leaves green, like the color of the leaves.
Blue.
Yeah, see, leaves blue. So when I speak English and I want to mention the color green, I always call it blue, and then everybody was confused.
Very confused.
Was I call it blue or was I call it green all the time?
She's not even consistent, so she's changing sometimes. It's really like whenever we make a board game night, it's like, who has the blue one? And then someone says me, and Uyen also says me. We also have one person who's colorblind at the board game night, so it's a mess. Like,
yeah. But now I just whenever I say blue, a German boyfriend would ask, "You mean like the sky blue, or you mean the forest blue?" And then I would say the forest blue, and he said, "You mean green?" And I said, "Yeah."
That's actually very cute. I remember that was very, very interesting for me when it turned on, especially because green is my favorite color, and then you don't have it in your language. Like, what should that mean?
Yeah. Wait, do you have any other situation like that when you mix up words just like that too?
Well, actually, like when we're talking about this, I also thought about, I mean, you already talked about the Vietnamese lime, but isn't it also the same with your kumquat? You're always talking about kumquat, and over here, the kumquat is like a completely different fruit.
Yeah, you guys, have you ever seen the kumquat in Western country? It's like the best fruit in the world. I cannot believe that you guys hide it from me.
No, like we have fruits that we call kumquat, but it's not the one that you call kumquat in Vietnam.
I am so freaking confused now. See, again. Okay, so the kumquat in Vietnam is coming from a kumquat tree, and it's round, and it's tiny, and it's green. And it could be orange too. And it's like having a flavorful, heavenly, citrus smell.
It's really yummy.
Yeah, but it's super sour. You cannot just like put into your mouth and swallow it. You're gonna like, I don't know. Oh.
But like the juice is very yummy when you put it into food.
Exactly. Like almost every single drinks in Vietnam has kumquat inside. That's the reason why.
It's way more fruity than lemon.
It tastes awesome. And in Germany, the kumquat is like those oval fruits that is always yellow, and you can just I have problem with yellow and orange too. And then you put the whole thing on your mouth, and then you chew it. It tastes really, really good. I freaking love it. I freaking love the Western kumquat. I want to eat it every day. It's just so expensive over here. It's like €1 for one tiny kumquat or something. Who can afford that?
Yeah, I think it's like €8 for 100 gram.
I know.
Crazy. Yeah. And then I also got remembered to, like, in the beginning of our relationship, you had no clue that there's broccoli and cauliflower. For you, it was just white broccoli and green broccoli.
Exactly. And I still call them the same thing. Do I want to eat white broccoli or green broccoli?
Yeah, and she's also confusing people because she's not willing to adapt.
Yep. Personal opinion, I think white broccoli is the most disgusting thing in the whole wide world. I cannot believe they have the same name and they taste so different and disgusting.
And she already confused several hosts when she said, like, yeah, I just don't like the broccoli. And then the host was like, there's no broccoli in it. And she's like, here, and that's cauliflower. No.
Okay,
so next one. This one is also cute. MY sent us this short story. My dad is a teacher. In Chinese, teacher is Lao Shi.
I think it's Lao Shu or something. Because I'm sorry, keep talking.
Yeah, you might be right.
I'm not Chinese, I'm just guessing.
I am neither, and maybe I just said a very dirty word. I don't know.
I hope not.
So, in Chinese, teacher is Lao Shi, hopefully. My boyfriend also wanted to call my dad Lao Shi to show his respect, except he kept calling my dad Lao Shu, which means mouse.
Do you know many Vietnamese words actually originated in Chinese?
Yeah.
That is why I can, not like I can understand Chinese, but when they say word very slowly, I can kind of vaguely guess what does that mean. And that is why Vietnamese can learn Chinese very quickly. It's very hard for us to write, but we can learn to speak it very quickly as well.
Okay.
Back to the story. It's a cute story.
It's really a cute story.
Have you tried to call my mom something like that as well?
Wasn't it me calling your dad mistress instead of father? So in Vietnamese, you have a lot of different ways to pronounce the vowels. Yeah. Oh, those are the vowels, like A, E, O, U, I. No? And it's always about what you're doing with your voice when you pronounce that vowel. Like, for example, the O, You can go up, you can go down, you can go very down, you can make your voice shake a bit. And I don't know, those are the possibilities you have. Did I forget about something? You can go up and down.
Yeah, and it means completely different thing if you have like different tone. For example, father in Vietnamese is bố, and but with the same word with different tone, it could be like bố, 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 bố. So sometimes it's hard and one of the tone is bố, which is like mistress. So sometimes German boyfriend would call my father the mistress. And also,
I think one time I said Uyen's mistress.
Also, it's a very, I think, quite different thing as well, is that in Vietnam, once you are certain to marry into the family, you're gonna call the in-laws mom and dad. And the in-laws gonna call you like, treat you like family, and also call you like their kid as well. But in Germany, you don't do that.
But what you also need to tell them is that you also use like mom and dad like as a personal pronoun for the people.
Like a name.
Yeah. Like, not just
for example, like when you talk to your father, you would be ask him like if he want to drink water, you would ask in English like, do you want to drink water? But in Vietnam, you would say like, do Baba want to drink water? And then, or I say like, Baba said this, Baba said that. Do Baba want to go a walk with me? Things like that, you know? Like it's not you, it's like mom and dad, Baba, mama, things like that.
But it's in general, like many of the pronouns are actually like relationship words. Yeah. Like you would call someone an auntie or an uncle when they're older than you, or like someone a brother or a sister when they're roughly the same age or a bit younger than you.
Yeah, or like you would call each other husband and wife, and that is the pronouns that you give them. Like you would say like, husband, go and clean the house or something like that. It's not you anymore. I think I like it. It's a bit more complicated, definitely, to address someone in Vietnam with that many pronouns.
Yeah.
But it's also like kind of cute in a way as well.
One time I was outside alone in Uyen's village, and I was taking pictures of something in the nature, like bees or something. And then I heard someone coming, and I just saw that it's an old person, and I was like, shoot, like it's an old person. I need to show respect. What is the freaking pronoun for an older male person? And at the end I ran away.
Oh, really?
I pretended I didn't see him. He was not there yet, so I just ran away.
That is the worst thing you could do, to stand there.
I think there's worse stuff that I could have done.
Really? You know, when German boyfriend went to my village, I basically kept him inside the house all the time because I want him to spend time with my family. So sadly, he didn't have much time interacting with the village people. And I'm sure they got...
Village people?
Is that how you call it? No?
The village people are also like, YMCA. That's the name of the band.
But I'm pretty sure my village people would like you.
And like in Vietnam, when you want to be polite, you have an ah. Ah. Yeah, there we see the problem already. Ah.
Yeah, exactly.
You have a in the end of the sentence for showing your respect. And that is very hard when you come from like English or German, where at the end of the sentence you go up with your voice for making a question.
Yeah.
So when you want to ask a polite question, you still need to put the at the end of the sentence, and you cannot go up, because at least this is what my Vietnamese teacher told me.
Yeah.
Like when you go up with the it's like you're talking with your best buddies, like very casual way of talking.
Yeah, we definitely don't have the thing of going up at the end of a sentence as a question. But the thing is, honey, I feel like as someone who is not the native speaker, as long as you try to speak the language, people are already amused enough that you are trying to speak it. They will not even care if you say like
Yeah,
they just know.
But you still need to remember that it was my first encounter with my future in-laws, with your parents at that time. And I remember we had like one lesson where I just tried to ask questions to your mom and your dad. And my teacher was all the time just like, no, you did it again. And then I tried again to not go up at the end of the the sentence.
I feel like in countries where the language is not that popular in the world, like Vietnam, for example, whenever a foreigner tries to speak the language, everybody loses their mind. Everybody's like, oh, this white man can speak our language. He must be my family or something, right? And
that's how people treated me in Vietnam.
Exactly.
Actually. I was like the talking dog who can just talk like three sentences, but
everybody was amazed. Like going to the circus, you know.
Yeah.
But like in Germany, you would never have that kind of reaction from German because
it's sad but true.
It's not sad, it's like English, honey. Because German is a popular language, many people want to learn the language so that they can live here and work here, and you need to speak German to a certain extent to like have a kind of a certain life over here. So either you speak German very fluently and then people don't notice that you are actually a foreigner, or you speak German like pretty badly and then they just switch to talk English with you. The thing is, I know that Germans, they will not be like, wow, your German is so good, you can speak German, I'm so impressed. But I see that they appreciate that because unlike countries that speak English, like UK, US, Canada, Germans, although the language is kind of popular, it's also very hard. And Germans are aware of that. So they actually appreciate it when I try to speak it. And when I struggle, they actually appreciate it more, actually.
Okay.
So I feel like whenever I have to go out and I have to talk German with people, I always try to speak German first because they appreciate it more. And then they would like spend more time to help me and stuff. And if it's not working out, then we switch to English. And then I would go home and be ashamed of myself.
No, you don't have to. Like here, when I'm in a Vietnamese shop and I'm trying to use some Vietnamese words, I feel like they don't even notice. But maybe because I used them so wrong, I don't know.
Honey, the thing is with Vietnamese, it's so freaking hard to speak. Like I'm the native speaker, but oh my God, with this language, if you don't master the tone, nobody can understand you. You just sound like a very, very like funny accent and nobody understand what you're talking about. It's not like English. With English, there is no tone or something. You can try to speak English with pretty bad accent and people could get it.
Yeah.
German is the same. But like with Vietnamese, it is impossible. The grammar is not so hard, but oh my God, the tones.
The grammar is actually awesome. Like when I found out about that, like it's really awesome. Like there's no really order for the words inside of the sentence, which is already helpful. And then like time tenses are super, super easy because you just have like very few words that you place in front of the verb or just randomly in the sentence. And then you're like in the past or in the present or in the future. Very well engineered language. So Joy was sending us this story. I'm Brazilian, and a few years ago, I worked at an international company and I made a friend. He was Russian. Sometimes I thought he was interested in me, but I wasn't sure. He didn't give me clear signs. One day, during a conversation, he looked at me very seriously and said, "You need to understand that I'm not indifferent to you." For me, that was very strange thing to say to someone. I thought I had done something or upset something. I couldn't think of what. I just said okay and kept quiet. But I noticed that his mood got much worse after that, getting worse and worse and worse. We were working on an event that would last for days, so I thought it would be best to ask. He told me in an irritated tone, "Look, I confessed to you, and all you said was okay. I'm not exactly comfortable around you right now, but that will pass." I didn't understand anything and asked, "When did you confess?"
Wait, are they co-workers?
Co-workers.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
He answered, "Yes, I'm not indifferent to you." I had to laugh. For me, it was more like a cut. Brazilians are very clear and direct in expressing their feelings. Indifference is not a word we would use in a situation of showing interest.
Okay.
Would you get that if I just told you, "Hey, I'm not indifferent to you"?
No, I thought he's trying not to be racist. Like you and me.
That was my first impression.
We are different nationality, but we are all human or something. Yeah, but I have to say, I could relate to this a lot because Germans tends to translate their saying literally from German to English. And German has so many sayings, like German boyfriend, for example.
That's true.
and then he often translate what he want to say from German to English, and then he's like so proud of it, as if he was like so deep. And then I was just like, huh? Like you are the what is the saying that people normally say in German? What is the apple? You're the apple of my eye or something?
Apple of my
No, you are the tomato of my eye. No. What was it with the tomato?
You can say you have tomatoes on your eyes when someone is not seeing anything.
Exactly.
I remember that I actually told you that
You have tomato.
several times because Uyen is always searching things when I'm sitting or lying somewhere comfortably. And I tell her, did you really look well? And then I get up and then I have one look and then it's there.
And then you're like, you have tomato in your eyes. I have
on
no.
your eyes.
Really? Okay. No clue. What else? What else the saying that you guys often translate? There was one that your friends often said. What is I think spider?
I think I spider.
Yeah, I think I spider. What does I think I spider means?
I think I go crazy.
See, in Vietnam, actually we don't use saying that often when we talk. When we do, but like it's not as much as the Germans.
We really do that a lot.
Yeah.
And like in German, like when we say that, like a sentence like that, then we make a meaningful pause and everyone is nodding and you made your point. And when you try to do the same, translating it into English and you're waiting for the appropriate reaction and it's not coming. It's devastating.
I'm trying, honey, do you remember any situation when I was trying to translate something into Vietnamese? I don't remember anything.
I just remember that like our first trip was in the south of Vietnam, and it was very interesting for me to see that Uyen had trouble understanding some things they are saying in the south, where it had a different meaning for her. Like
it was embarrassing. Like I was supposed to be the translator for German boyfriend, and I was like, maybe you speak in English, then I understand better. I'm from the north of Vietnam, and my town has pretty heavy accent too, my province. But we have like the kind of the northern accent. And then when I traveled with German boyfriend to the south and the middle of Vietnam, that was the first time I ever like travel alone as well and meet people, like talk to locals over there. At first I didn't understand like many of what they say as well, and it took like a while for me to finally get it. And then I couldn't translate for German boyfriend. I was just like, But like in Germany, actually the accent is not that different.
And actually it depends.
Yeah, but
like when you go to Bavaria, there are also places where I have trouble understanding them. Or when you go to the North Sea, you also have some places where I have problems understanding them.
Yeah, but it's actually not as like widely different compared to many countries. Like I could understand them still. Not like in Vietnam, we have like very different accent and they use different words to say something. I'm pretty sure. Like even in America, they have like Texas accent. No, but it's easy to understand anyway.
Yeah, also there are some accents that you have trouble to understand.
Yeah, agree. Okay.
But I don't know. We will be, next week we will be in Bavaria and maybe we can give you some examples and we see if you can understand them.
Coming back to this very lovely story about hopefully a couple now, I don't know, but hopefully in Vietnam, for example, the word love is not like popular to be used at all. Like we don't say I love you to friends or family members. We only say I love you for partners, like, you know, couple and stuff. But in America, for example, I see that people say love you to everybody. And when I go to the UK last week, people say love you to like, I don't know, be stranger on the street. Not love you, but like love.
My love.
Yeah, my love. Like literally, you could meet them for the first time and you're like, you all right, my love? And I was like, do we know each other? Do you really love me? Like, are we a couple? For me, love is a very strong word. Like, it's barely getting used even for couple over there. They would use lie, they would use other word that is not like love, but like I don't know, like they have other words for that. But in Germany, what about Germany? Do you guys use like ich liebe dich for your family too?
You can use it for your family. I think it depends on the family if you're really doing it. In German, you also have like a little bit, like I love you is very strong. Ich liebe dich. And then you have like one stage lower, which is like ich hab dich lieb. I think you could translate it to I cherish you in English. I think in a relationship, you also would first start with the ich hab dich lieb. Before you go to the I love you.
Have your parents ever say ich liebe dich to you in front of you?
Sometimes, yeah, but they more say ich hab dich lieb.
Oh, okay.
And also that not that often. I mean, but yeah, my family more shows it by hugging.
Yeah.
And yeah, but saying that out loud is also not so common.
In this sense,
with my family.
Yeah, I feel like in this sense, Vietnamese and Germans are quite similar because you guys also not walking around calling everybody like love, 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 love. Even for friends, like you guys don't do that often as well, like in the UK or in America.
Yeah, like we even had the same situation when we were in the UK because we went into the same shop. I forgot something and then I was in first. Then Uyen came out and she said, "Oh, the cashier called me my love." And I was like, "Me too."
How dare she? How does that call in English when she's like, I don't know, triangle, both of us in a love triangle?
She betrayed us. Played with our feelings.
Damn it.
Yeah, I also remember that in Vietnamese you also don't really say I like you. Right?
Actually, yeah, because we don't say I love you that often, so we use I like you for couples. Those are like strictly couple only.
I remember when after Uyen and me met, and then I was traveling the rest of Vietnam by myself, and we were texting every day. And then at one point in a hostel, I asked a Vietnamese girl, like, how do I say I like you? And then she was giggling. And there I maybe should have been a little bit,
maybe
knowing already what's going on, or like that it's not so appropriate to say it or something. But yeah, then she told me, and then I texted it to you later, and then you were like, "What?"
But you know,
Eintig M.
Oh my God! You see?
Yeah, I still got it.
I'm not used to like hearing cheesy word in Vietnamese. But you know, because in my language, those kind of cheesy word and like word that is like expressing love is not popular use. I feel like it shapes personality as well. Because for me, it's really hard to like expressing my love to my family members or my friends because there's like not like a word for that. So I would do something for them, I would hang out with them, but I would like not telling them that I love them, or like I wouldn't hug them. Vietnamese, we don't really hug anyway. So it's like it's pretty hard to express my emotion, like my fondest emotion with them. But since I learned how to speak English, I feel like it's so easy for me. Like it's like I saying I love you often, and honestly, it of course it means something with it. I didn't say anything like it's not
I
meaning
get
anything.
what you mean.
But I mean, it doesn't mean that strong anymore. I'm like, I love you. I love this tree. I love everything.
I also feel like it's easier to say I love you,
Right.
like with our English-speaking friends. Like some of them say it by themselves, and then it's easier to say it back. I don't know.
I cannot say like I love you in Vietnamese. I don't even know how can I say that. When I say that now, every inch in my body is like fighting it back. Like, oh, why are you saying that? It's so cringe. Which is a bit sad though. You know, when me and German boyfriend travel in Germany, I always feel like a princess because he's in charge of translating, and I don't really need to do anything. I just need to let him go and buy stuff, let him ask other people for information because like it's his country, he speaks the language, right? So when I was in Vietnam, it's like the opposite for German boyfriend and me.
Yeah, but then when we're in a country where we both don't speak the language, it gets more interesting. Then we're both trying to avoid, like, don't know, asking for certain things or something, or things we're not comfortable with.
But I don't feel like we ever been to a country where language barrier is actually a problem. Like even countries where they don't have like alphabet languages, like Thailand or Korea.
They have another alphabet.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Like ABC, Latin language, Latin alphabet. It's not that hard for us. We use Google Translate, and honestly, like young people nowadays, you can just grab a young person on the street, and then 80% that they can speak English to a certain extent anywhere now.
Yeah.
I'm really shocked. Like
that's really cool.
That's my tips now. Like whenever I'm get lost in a foreign country, I'm just grabbing the one that look like as young as possible, but like legal age, so that I don't look like I'm talking to children. I just grab like a 18, 19 years old. They're gonna speak English fluently, and then they're gonna tell me what's happening. I'm serious.
That's kind of true.
Right?
Then they sometimes also have tips for you. And but in general, like people nowadays are just so lucky that they can just use the Google Lens and translate everything. I remember in Korea when I wanted to eat manju,
I don't know,
with different fillings.
Yeah,
it was like shoot. It's all just written like in Korean, and I was like, I have no idea what it is. Then the lady behind the counter was not speaking English, so I just took out the phone, and then it perfectly translated it, and I knew what I have inside.
Okay, so talking about food, I find food is one of the problems when it comes to language, actually.
Really?
I'm struggling with that because I love eating food when I'm traveling, but honestly, it's pretty hard to translate like food into like a foreign language. If you try to translate food name, Vietnamese food name to English, 90% is wrong. It's like we name it like the craziest name, the weirdest name ever. And then you translate it and you're like, for example, we have a dish when you translate it, like bò lúc lắc, it's called like chickling beef. It has nothing to do with like chickling.
But the thing is that you also has like those names then in the menu. In the English menu, then you read like jiggly beef, and you're like, okay.
Many places in Vietnam, they try to help foreigner to like choose the dish, but they also don't speak English well because they are old, so they just use Google Translate, and they have like the funniest name ever there.
And then, I don't know. I need to confess that I am the person who's at any menu in Asia and searches for mistakes and then finds them very funny. But I mean, of course, it's not their fault and everything is fine. But I just like it when I read like French, fried. Sometimes I'm also the person who's mistaken then, because like I really found it very funny when I read chicken drumstick, and then chicken drumstick is actually a thing, and I just didn't know about it.
Really? You didn't know that chicken drumstick is a thing?
I didn't know it's a thing. I just was like, hey, drumstick from a chicken.
Well, how do you call like those drumstick chicken then? Chicken thigh? Chicken legs?
You mean in
chicken with muscle?
You mean in German?
English.
Chicken leg?
Chicken leg is like those tiny chicken leg with like skin and stuff like that, which is super yummy. But you're afraid of it. See?
What is it then?
I would call it chicken drumstick. See? See how?
Is there also a chicken triangle and, I don't know, chicken guitar?
But you know, when traveling with German boyfriend, the most important word when it comes to food, when traveling with him, is like no spicy,
please.
In every country we ever been to, that is the first thing German boyfriend learn. No spicy, no spicy.
Yeah, in Asian countries, then also like no coriander, please.
Oh, yeah.
I offended several old Vietnamese grandmas who sold stuff on the street by saying like, no coriander, please.
Everything in Vietnam has coriander. If you don't eat coriander, don't come to Vietnam.
That's
coriander
why they looked
like,
at me like I insulted all of their ancestors. So
coriander and the green onions are the backbone of Vietnamese soup. You just put it everywhere and it tastes super good. Also salad too. Oh God, it's yummy.
So we hope you liked today's stories. If you have a story for us that you would like to submit to us, you can do that on culturecuddles.com.
We would love to hear your story and read it together.
Bye guys. See you next time.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.